The same time they came and picked your ass up, right? They came and got Big Useless, right? And then, they rolled on me.
Not more than 24 hours after this admission from Loose Cannon, he was arrested alongside Bricc Baby. It was history repeating itself again, the pair getting arrested almost immediately on the same day. But admitting to arrest wasn't the error, as Bricc Baby had given up details about his life of crime in the past. The error was admitting to being paid to attack Cannon, proving that they were in a mafia-like organization.
Basically, when I called, I seen the play, but he know what I'm on. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we argued, I think, when he said I'm about to get ordered up.
With this and many more on his sheets, it's likely goodbye forever as Bricc Baby faces decades behind bars if sentenced. Bricc Baby facing life in prison. On Wednesday, March 19th, 2025, a post was shared to No Jumper LA on Instagram, where Bricc Baby serves as a host, noting that the rapper had been taken into custody by law enforcement officials. According to reports, Bricc Baby was arrested alongside his No Jumper co-host Loose Cannon, as well as several other alleged members of the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips, in what authorities have dubbed Operation Drawdown. The Instagram post featured a picture of Loose Cannon, Bricc Baby, and the alleged leader of the gang, Eugene Henley Jr., aka Big U. It also included a picture that showed the headshots of several other alleged gang members that had either been arrested or still on the loose. The caption read, #NoJumper host #Bricc Baby was arrested alongside #Loose Cannon, #Big U, and other alleged members of the Rollin' 60s neighborhood CRPs in a South Los Angeles gang takedown, dubbed Operation Drawdown, led by the U.S. Attorney's Office. The arrests of Bricc Baby and the other alleged gang members stemmed from a criminal complaint filed against the Big U enterprise by Special FBI agent Andrew Russa. According to the court documents, the Big U enterprise maintained a stronghold on Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. The group used the stature and connections of their owner, Big U, to run an extortion racket throughout LA for several years. While multiple arrests were made on Wednesday, it was reported that Big U was still at large and was being sought by authorities. Meanwhile, Bricc, Cannon, and at least 15 others have already been charged with various federal crimes, including drug trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and firearms offenses. If convicted of these charges, Bricc Baby could be looking at an extended stay in prison, just like other artists who have been indicted for violating the racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations RICO Act in recent years. New York drill rapper Kay Flock was found guilty of multiple charges by a jury in his New York RICO case on Thursday, March 20th, 2025. Kay Flock's charges that resulted in his conviction include racketeering conspiracy, use of a gun resulting in death, attempted murder and assault with a weapon in furtherance of racketeering, and use of a firearm for attempted murder and assault with a dangerous weapon. The court eventually acquitted him of the murder in aid of racketeering charges relating to the 2021 murder of Huáscar Hernandez. Flock's trial began on March 10th and involved multiple witnesses, including the rapper's former colleague and a state cooperator. After the guilty verdict, his sentencing was set for July 16th, and Flock might reportedly face a life sentence when the time comes. Apart from Flock, rapper Young Thug was recently released from jail after accepting a plea deal in Georgia RICO trial that played out for about 2 years. The rapper pleaded no contest to RICO and gang leader counts in October 2024 and was subsequently sentenced to time served on several counts as well as 15 years of probation. Another popular figure that has been handed a lengthy prison sentence due to violating the RICO Act in recent years is rapper Casanova. The Brooklyn rapper was one of 18 men charged in 2020 for their alleged criminal roles in the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang, which prosecutors claimed committed terrible acts of violence across the New York City area. In 2022, he pleaded guilty to one charge under the RICO Act, as well as a charge of conspiracy to distribute over 100 kilograms of marijuana. Despite denouncing the gang in the days leading up to his sentencing, a New York judge sentenced him to 15 years in jail on June 27, 2023. Over the last decade, several other artists have had to deal with RICO cases, including Fetty Wap, Gunna, YFN Lucci, Hoodrich Pablo Juan, Sue Surf, and OMB Bloodbath. While some of these cases are still in court, others have been concluded with the rappers getting slapped with lengthy prison sentences. However, all these cases have now been pushed to the background, as the last few days have seen the internet go wild with various conspiracy theories and rumors relating to Bricc Baby's arrest. Underneath the post shared by No Jumper LA announcing Bricc Baby's arrest, several fans took to the comments section to speculate about Adam 22's involvement, given that Bricc Baby was a co-host on his podcast. One person wrote, "Adam profits from getting black people to speak on their gang politics, and that's why they got arrested. He better be paying everybody's bail." Another user user commented, "You the one really the Fed, Mr. Adam." A third person added, "Adam22 rubbing his hands like Birdman right now." A fourth person didn't mince words and called out Adam22 directly when they said Adam's fault. On March 20th, Adam22 took to his Instagram story to respond to all the speculation regarding his connection to Bricc Baby's arrest. In the video, Adam22 slammed his accusers before reminding them of how his podcast had helped many people get off the streets and make legal money. He said,
"I put people in position, put them on the podcast, give them jobs, help them make legal money." A lot of the that people are getting caught up for it, especially with Bricc, it's like, I'm not seeing anything that says anything about stuff that he's done in the last 2 years since he's been with us, right?
Adam22 also noted that while he occasionally cracked a joke or two, he genuinely regarded Bricc Baby and Loose Cannon as friends and was ready to support them every step of the way. At the end of the video, the podcaster re-emphasized that the duo's present legal trouble was no fault of his.
Anybody acting like this is because of No Jumper? No, No Jumper was the antidote to this bullshit.
The video has since gone viral on the social media platform, garnering over 250,000 views within hours of being uploaded. The video was reshared on X, and it quickly attracted several comments from X users. Despite Adam22's detailed rebuttal, most of the commenters remained adamant that the podcaster was largely to blame for Bricc Baby and Loose Cannon's arrest. One of the standout comments read, "You employ people, Adam, and they snitch on themselves on No Jumper. That's the reason No Jumper name is coming up." This comment seemingly opened up the floodgates as other netizens continued to speculate that Adam22 was in some way linked to Bricc Baby's arrest. One person said, "You put people in position to make an embarrassment of themselves and get indicted. Yes, you certainly put people in position, LOL." Another user didn't mince words as they took Adam22 to the cleaners. They wrote, "This is the worst kind of person. Someone who encourages you to make a fool of yourself. Someone who encourages drama. Someone who bastardizes street culture when ain't from it. And then when goes wrong, how dare you blame him? Typical clown from a typical clown." Amidst the brutal takedown of Adam22 and his No Jumper podcast, some fans saw things from a different perspective and noted that the arrests were a result of the carelessness of the culprits, who weren't smart enough to watch what they let out on camera. One particular ex-user replied, "If you dumb enough to go on these shows and run your mouth crazy, then do you expect? I never understood these dudes." While Adam22's No Jumper podcast may have provided a platform for Bricc Baby to talk about his gang affiliations, there's no doubt that the rapper really enjoyed giving lowdowns on his past criminal activities. Despite clear warnings from fans that his confessions would eventually get him locked up, Bricc Baby continued to appear on various podcasts, unraveling the mysteries of some criminal activities linked to the years he was deeply immersed in gang activity. Bricc Baby was addicted to gang life. There are few people in the rap industry that proudly wear their gang affiliation and past crimes life like a badge as much as Bricc Baby does in his interviews, whether it's on No Jumper or other podcasts. Although Bricc Baby would like fans to believe that he left that life behind a long time ago, it doesn't take too much to see that he's much too addicted to the gang life to leave it all behind completely. And if his recent arrest is anything to go by, then it explains why he got so much joy talking about his gang association and past crimes week in, week out on the No Jumper podcast, despite the clear risks that such confessions posed. The fact was that he simply enjoyed this aspect of his life and got off talking about it. Bricc Baby himself has previously confessed about how as a child he always dreamed about gang life and planned on going to jail just like his parents because he felt it was really cool. Although Bricc Baby's parents weren't really deep into gang activity, they were successful drug dealers who made quite a lot of money, and this sort of got Bricc Baby to fall in love with a life of crime. Bricc Baby has never hidden the fact that his parents were big-time criminals, and during a September 2024 interview on Vlad TV, he provided more details about their criminal enterprise. He said,
"Fresh out of high school, I feel like she started with fraud. Not boosted, but fraud, and it led to her going out of town and starting her journey. I feel like my dad was a hustler from day one."
Bricc Baby also opened up about how growing up surrounded by a lot of dirty money got him fascinated with the life of crime quite early in life. When he was asked what sort of effect his parents' legal drama had on him, Bricc Baby answered saying,
"It made me want to go even harder, because it was like, I used to drive in Bentleys and live in big old houses and all, like I know what the dope money do."
Bricc Baby blamed the thought process on being ignorant at that stage in life, and went on to talk about how he and his brothers grew up with the ultimate desire to get caught for a crime and spend time in jail. He added,
"I should have looked at it like that, but it was to the point to where me and my brothers used to be like, man, when I go to jail, I'm gonna have my little like, we was up in the head, like we was planning on going to jail. It always was in the plan. Like, it was not like that, and it sounds crazy, but We spoke it into existence.
As the video progresses, Bricc Baby talked about how growing up in an environment where every one of his family members were getting locked up made it seem like it was a rite of passage that needed to happen before he could feel like a part of the family. So it wasn't surprising that he started dealing drugs when he was just 16 years old. But that wasn't when he got his first taste of crime. According to Bricc Baby, he committed his first crime during his first year of high school. He was 14 at the time, and a girl who was mad at her dad and wanted to get back at him helped Bricc Baby to steal from her dad. She not only provided him with information, but she also left a window open to allow Bricc Baby to get into the house and steal some drugs and cash. In the end, he made off with about 30 pounds of brick weed and $9,000 in cash. This inevitably set Bricc Baby on a path of crime, and by the time he was 16, he had started dealing drugs and getting involved in gang activity. Although Bricc Baby insists that his parents weren't gangbangers, he forged his own path into gang life due to his rebellious nature, which constantly got him into trouble on the streets. At some point, he came to the realization that he would need some protection if he wanted to continue rolling out in the streets. While recounting how he became a Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips gang member, Bricc Baby said,
And then it started dawning on me like, you right, I don't got no backbone over here, I ain't tripping, but you know what I'm saying? I end up getting put on 60s like my 14th summer.
Bricc Baby officially began his journey as a Crips member when he was 14, and he quickly rose through the ranks, earning the nickname Baby Wild Bill before getting it changed to Wild Bill, and then finally, Billy Badass. As time progressed, Bricc Baby would eventually meet with Big U around 2007, and that was when he really became deeply involved in the inner politics and criminal activities of the Crips gang. Since then, Bricc Baby has been in and out of prison for various offenses, including 4 felonies, but he never really did a stretch of time in jail. The fact that he has 4 felonies listed on his records and hasn't done more than 4 years in jail has raised suspicions from various quarters, with YouTube channel Swamp Stories labeling Bricc Baby a snitch. The faceless account questioned how it was possible that Bricc Baby had 4 felonies and had never done any jail time. When the question was posed to Bricc Baby during a January 2025 interview on Vlad TV, he answered saying,
I done did 7-8 years in jail. What the f is he talking about? Yeah, I just got sentenced to 7 years. COVID let me out of jail early. I was supposed to do 7 years though. I just end up getting out in 4.
Bricc Baby went on to reveal that he has been able to avoid jail time because he spends a lot of money hiring high-powered lawyers that help him beat so many of the cases brought against him. Back in November 2024, WAC 100 also claimed that Bricc Baby was a federal informant and insisted that he would be exposed soon. This was about the same time that speculations about Bricc Baby's involvement in the Lil Durk murder for hire case were making the rounds online. According to netizens, Bricc Baby was the one that gave Lil Durk the location on Quando Rondo, which inevitably led to the August 19, 2022 shooting that claimed the life of Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab. While there have been no concrete evidence to prove his involvement, fans have continued to run with the rumors due to Bricc Baby's gang affiliations and the fact that he and Durk share connections in the industry, particularly in circles that overlap with other rappers that have been involved in or influenced by violence or gang culture. But while Bricc Baby's involvement in the murder for hire case is far from exposed, his recent arrest alongside several others has exposed some heinous crimes that have been tied to the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips under the stewardship of Big U. What is Operation Drawdown? It is no news that the No Jumper talk show host Bricc Baby was arrested on Wednesday, but he isn't about to go down alone. The law enforcement officials have established that he is a part of a whole mafia-like group. In fact, his arrest was initiated as part of the Operation Drawdown that targeted the Big U enterprise and its collaboration with the Rolling 60s gang. This gang, also known as the Rolling 60s Neighborhood Crips, are based in Los Angeles, and they began their operations in the 1970s. This group is famously notorious, particularly in the Hyde Park area of South Los Angeles. Like with other gangs, they soon gained fame and became one of the most feared groups following their beefs and confrontations with other gangs. One of the gang's unforgettable moments that left them as the most revered groups was their fights with rival group, the 8 Trey Gangster Crips. After many years in operation, the Operation Drawdown finally closed in on the group, while focused on the Big U enterprise, run by producer and rapper Big U. Following investigations that showed the magnitude of their criminal activities, the authorities tagged them as a mafia-like enterprise. The Los Angeles police was successful in arresting its members, including Bricc Baby. However, the forerunner, Big U, found a way to escape. But sources revealed that he eventually turned himself into the authorities. Via a criminal complaint filed against the group, Andrew Rusa affirmed that they sought to control the entire city through intimidation, violence, and fear. This led the group in collaboration with Big U Enterprise to extort individuals and businesses in LA. During a press release, Joseph T. McNally, the acting U.S. attorney, established that the Big U Enterprise ran under the guise of being a reputable organization when in fact it was strictly criminal. McNally emphasized that Big U, aka Eugene Henley, 58, masked his real identity to the people of LA. To the crowd, he was a rapper, producer, and philanthropist who through his organization helped young boys stay off the streets and crimes. On the contrary, in the real world, Big U was the perpetrator of everything evil as he killed and harassed those who crossed his path. The acting U.S. attorney referenced a scenario where he killed an individual and disposed of the body in South Las Vegas. At the same time, Big U allegedly harassed and intimidated witnesses.
The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body.
The 2021 murder happened in January, and per court documents, the victim's name was R.W., who was an aspiring musician. He had newly been signed to the Unique Music jointly owned by Big U, and Bear Claw, aka Mark Martin, 50, who ran the enterprise as well. Prior to the murder, Big U and Unique Music paid off the victim's travel fee to record music at a music studio owned by a Grammy Award-winning music producer. However, R.W. refused to record at the Fixed Rare and rather resorted to making a diss song about Big U, which triggered his boss to confront him in Las Vegas. Allegedly, Big U decided to settle the discord by driving his victim to north of Las Vegas, where he put a bullet through his head. Once the killing was completed, he dragged the victim's dead body off Interstate 15 into the desert and disposed of it in a ditch. Big U then flew out of the city with his company, Sylvester Robinson, who is also in police custody. Once he returned to Los Angeles, Big U ordered studio workers to exit the building while Robinson allegedly took care of the security footage to cover their tracks. The big boss later warned the witnesses not to say a word to the police about R.W.'s murder. On top of that, Big U attempted to steal from the government by fraudulently obtaining COVID relief funds through his business. He falsely stated that his music label made a $200,000 profit in 2019 and had operated at a loss. As such, it was entitled to government assistance. Without mincing words, McNally added,
Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options, which, as I said, purports to give South LA at-risk youth alternatives to gang violence, drugs, and other criminal activity.
Through his charity organization, Developing Options, a Hyde Park nonprofit, Big U masked his crimes and evaded investigation from law enforcement. According to the complaint, Big U's nonprofit Developing Options is heavily funded through the City of Los Angeles' mayor's office, through the Gang Reduction Youth Development GRID Foundation, portions of which receive federal funding, but also receives donations from prominent sources, including NBA players. Now that he has been caught, he and his co-conspirators face a total of 20 years behind bars if found guilty. McNally ended the press conference by extending a Heart PD gratitude to investigators including the law enforcement partners, the Los Angeles Metropolitan Gang Task Force, FBI agents, LAPD officers, IRS Criminal Investigation, U.S. Department of Justice, Inspector General's Office, Los Angeles Police Department, and so on. This goes to show that the Operation Drawdown was largely successful due to the collaborative and extensive efforts of these groups. McNally concluded by assuring Los Angeles residents that their communities were safer with these alleged criminals in jail. The assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office, Akil Davis, also had a few things to say following the unsealing of the indictment against the Big U enterprise. According to Davis, the lead defendant and others in this case have for too long gotten away with violent acts and stealing money from taxpayers and well-intentioned donors, whether they use intimidation tactics or wield influence as purportedly rehabilitated original gangsters. This investigation has been ongoing for 4 years. According to Davis, this has intensified the commitment of the law enforcement in rooting out criminal activities on the streets of Los Angeles. So far, the authorities were able to apprehend 10 members of the Rolling 60s and associates who have since been charged with different crimes. This ranges from drug trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, murder, and firearms offenses. Shockingly, just a day before getting picked up by the police, No Jumper co-host Bricc Baby went up against Loose Cannon about getting arrested. The pair talked about when they were picked up by the cops a few years back. It was almost as if they knew what was coming. Bricc Baby was the first to ask Loose Cannon Cannon about his experience with the feds as he claimed he had been arrested 2 times. In his defense, Cannon explained that Bricc Baby already knew the answer to the question he was asking. He goes,
"The same time they came and picked your ass up, right? They came and got Big Useless, right? And then, they rolled on me."
Following Bricc Baby's denial, Cannon went off on him, maintaining that he was faking being oblivious. Next, Cannon recounted a scenario that happened years ago. According to him, some people wanted Bricc Baby to get their possession from him. But instead of going along with the plan, Bricc Baby immediately called up Cannon to inform him that he was going to be attacked. This was when they got to know each other and has since maintained a cordial bond. Regardless of what appeared to be reminiscence of friendship and loyalty, some fans believe that Bricc Baby and Cannon simply gave themselves away with this interview. One person quipped, "They just gave themselves away." Another added, "Too much internet talk." While fans are unwilling to accept that this interview was only the icing on the cake, it is very evident that following thorough investigation, the police were able to get substantial proof tying the pair to crimes related to the Big U enterprise. For now, we just watch how it will all play out in the end. If you enjoyed this content and would not mind more updates on what's trendy, please click on the card showing on the screen.